I am going to show you how to increase your resource production when you get Helios or during SVS Castle Battle. You'll burn through your resources pretty quickly. Healing, and then, of course, training. This also applies if you don't have Helios, but I recently got Helios, so that is my current level of pain. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to come over to the Castle Battle tab up on the Events button on the top right hand side of the screen, and you're going to select Appointment, and then you're going to go to Minister of the Interior, and this increases resource production 80%. And you are going to pick a time when you are going to be free. So I am going to go ahead and put 10 UTC. So I'm applying. Now that's not going to be active for 16 minutes. So in 16 minutes, I would come back and I would do what I'm about to do. Now I am not going to wait because I frankly don't want to, and I actually don't want this position. So, okay, so you apply for Minister of the Interior, and then you go to your city and you go to the Chief's house, and you are going to pick 3 of these books to do while you are Minister of the Interior. The first is you're going to do Urgent Mobilization, then you're going to do Productivity Day, and then you're going to do Rush Job. And that is going to give you an influx of resources. Now, one of the things to consider is if you go up at the very top row, you'll see right here there's a little knife and a fork and it says 1252. If you click on that, you can see that my survivors are currently eating. So if you have been playing Whiteout Survival, you might have experienced your people rioting or being disgruntled. So you want to avoid doing any of the chief orders other than festivities while they're eating or resting or sleeping. You want to do it when they're working. So we have 3 more minutes before they start work again. I don't care if they're mad, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. The other thing is if you click where there's some coal and it says 51.3 up at the top, if you click that, you'll see that the current harvest for my meat, and I'm only going to focus on meat, they will all go up, but it's just easier if I use one to show you the change. So it's 101.8. Now that is without me being the Minister of Interior. If I was Minister of Interior, this would be even higher right now because it would increase by 80%. But again, due to time constraints, since I just want this to be a one-shot video, I am not Minister of Interior right now. So now we're going to go and we're going to click on Urgent Mobilization. This is going to force all of the survivors to work for 48 hours. And note that they will have a reduction in their mood for all survivors. So this will make them unhappy. It's like you have to work overtime. It's going to make them unhappy. But we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to enact that. And you can see all the little minuses. That is their mood. And then all the pluses are their production. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to check on Productivity Day, and this is going to give a plus 100% output across all resources. So remember, this is in addition to the amount from the Minister of Interior. If I were the Minister of Interior right now, it would increase it another 100%. Again, it's going to make it a -10 mood for all survivors. We're going to go ahead and do that. And again, the numbers are all increasing. If we come back up here, you can see it went from, I think it was 101 or 111, and now it's 143. So if I were Minister of the Interior, it would probably be up around 160 right now. So it's producing a lot more. I'm producing a lot more resources right now than I was prior. And then the next thing we're going to do is come over here and we're going to click Rush Job. Now this gives me 5 days worth of resources from all work sites at one time. And remember, that's 5 days of resources with these boosts, right? So I'm getting the resources at the increased production rate, 5 days worth at one time. So, but do notice that it does cost a lot more than the other two. So this costs 150 stars. The stars are up here in the right hand corner. Now you can buy them, but you will just accrue them over time, and you just want to keep an eye on them. You can accrue a lot, but if you use them every day, you will run out. Like, you can't constantly do these without running low. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and then all of that production. And so now I have just received these 5 days worth of production in like a 5-minute period, right? So I click, and if we come back here, we can see that urgent mobilization and productivity day are both still active. Those are going to continue to be active for a total of 20 minutes. So in 21 minutes, they'll have both retired. And then once they're both done, and you have, the increased productivity is going to continue this whole time until for another 10 minutes. And the survivors are going to continue to work hard for another 20 minutes. Now, as I mentioned before, this is going to make them unhappy. So what you want to do after you have triggered those and they have all expired, I kind of recommend that you do it right before reset, just so that they're really, not right before reset, but about 30 minutes before reset, is you're going to want to go in and click on festivities. Now, mine is on cooldown still because I used it yesterday. It does take a day to cool down, but it boosts everybody's mood by 50. So you remember I reduced it by 30 because it was -10 for everything, and this is going to boost it back up by 50, and it's also going to increase their comfort, which means that they're not going to be too mad. I would not recommend doing the urgent mobilization, productivity, and rush job over and over again without throwing in some festivities, or they're going to riot. But it's a really simple fix. Just in about 30 minutes after you launched all 3 of those, go through and open up the festivities and just launch the festivities, and then make them all throw them a little party. It's like getting a pizza party because everybody read the book when you were in school, right? So everybody worked hard. The boss is going to throw them a little party at the end of the work week. So this is a really fast way to increase your resource production. I would do it a couple of times during SVS while you're training soldiers, troops, and preparing for SVS Castle Battle. That way you have plenty to heal. I would then do it after Castle Battle so you can replace all of the resources you used during Castle Battle. So I would do it a couple times the week after. And then I find that I I do make purchases, and you get a lot of resources when you make some of the purchases. So I find that I typically have enough resources and I don't have to do it, you know, more than a couple of times a week, the week of SVS and the week after. But if you aren't somebody, if you're free to play, you probably want to do this every other day at least, to make sure that you have enough resources to do all of the things that you need to do, because pretty much everything takes resources. Building, training, healing, it all takes resources. As always, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.